Father, I adore you. You've drawn me to this place. I bow down before you, humbly on my face. All the earth shall worship at the throne of the King, of His great and awesome power. We shall sing. Jesus, we love you because you first loved us. You reached out and healed us with your mighty touch. All the earth shall worship at the throne of the King, of His great and awesome power. We shall sing. Spirit, we need you to lift us from this fire. Consume and empower us with your holy fire. All the earth shall worship at the throne of the King, of His great and awesome power. We shall sing.
On one of our trips interior, the Brazilian pastor asked us to go up and look at these huge water lilies. They're called Vitoria Regina. They're large enough to support a small child. And look at the underneath side of these. The structure is really amazing. All these thorns and parts to support it, but they do produce a beautiful flower. Here we have 3 little girls that's carrying up water from the river to their house. Notice this one in the middle. Look at there, no hands. And watch what else she does. They start on. She stops, reaches down with her toes, gets her toothbrush, hands it to her sister, reaches down and gets the toothpaste, then up the hill they go. This is the interior of our houseboat. The hospital ship, we're so thankful for this. The Lord has supplied it through the Christian Blind Mission in Germany. And it's mightily being used of the Lord to win people to Jesus Christ. 60 feet long, about 15 feet wide, all steel hull. What a blessed opportunity to be able to help people who have physical needs as well as spiritual. Training young people in dentistry and medical work, laboratory work, also river navigation. How amazing it is for them to see these minute things with a microscope. This is our waiting room, many times filled up every day. Dentistry is truly a blessing. Being able to meet the needs of these people. I've often said dentistry opens the mouth, but it opens the heart of man. We tried to use good products, disposable needles. This young fellow that you see here with me was a drug addict, and he accepted Jesus Christ as his Lord and Savior, and what a tremendous testimony this young fellow is. Here's our crowd waiting out on the shore, waiting to be taken in to be treated. Look at the teeth on this young man. 16 years old and not a sound tooth in his mouth, all because of malnutrition. Margie's a tremendous blessing on the boat. She gives all the consultations, does all the fitting of glasses, besides all the other things that need to be done on boats. What a blessing to be able to see people read. These glasses were donated by the mission Germany. We get a beautiful chicken for a gift. Here's a little girl we had the opportunity to pray for. They brought her to us almost too late. We trust the Lord undertook for this family. We very gently try to lift these rotten teeth out of the mouth of these people using Novocaine. She said, "I didn't feel a thing. I would like to have this one pulled." Notice what she says at the end. That one back there. This is a stingray sting. These stingrays are very prevalent in the water there. The barb goes in so easy, but when it comes out, it tears the flesh away. It takes months to heal up. By the way, this is a new use for masking tape. It does much better than the sticky medical tape. Here's a converted building. This used to belong to the Henry Ford Foundation in their rubber plantation. And it's a converted building now. It's a church. This is a pastor. He was quite a rounder in his day. Yet the Lord has saved him and used his life to reach all of the people in this area. They're going into the jail part, or the cell part, of which this man spent many days and nights in confinement. But because of his testimony, many people have come to know the Lord. There's two ways to go into town from the boatyard. One is walk the wall. On one side you have the river, the other side you have the man's septic tank. So you walk very cautiously on this wall. Or you can go the mud way. Margie hauled all of these boards out there and put them out there to go through this mud puddle. Wouldn't you know, someone came along and picked up all the boards and went off with them. Here they are making farinha out of the yucca root. This is quite a process, very lengthy process, and yet it's the necessity for the people. They just about live on this and fish. They usually get the one that's heaviest in the village to do this job, and notice this one coming up here. This is a woven basket, and it stretches, and they put a pole through the loop in the bottom and stretch it out. And watch what she does. She sits on it, and this is how the juice is squeezed out. This juice is very poisonous, of which they make tapioca. It's such a lengthy process that everybody in the whole family is involved in doing this work. This is what it looks like after it comes out of this stretchy basket. And then they dry it, and then they toast it. They run this through a sieve to separate the pulp part. Here they are peeling potatoes. Everybody peels potatoes. They can do this in a real hurry. I don't know how they miss their fingers. This is the final product. It's toasted golden brown color. It tastes like a real good grade of sawdust. They sack it up and they take part of it into town to sell. The rest of it they use there in the village. This is the machine that runs the grater part. Big wheel runs a little wheel, and the little wheel has saw teeth on it that chops away at the potato. Chops it up in real fine pieces. A very dangerous thing. Many people have gotten their hands and fingers caught in this thing, and we've had to treat many of them for these cuts and abrasions. Uh-oh, the belt broke. But here they are shoving these potatoes in. You always feed this with either a stick or another potato. That's so you don't have meat with your potatoes. This is one engine that runs on farinha. This is near the waterfalls. Look at these beautiful oriole nests. The oriole vomits on top of this, and after it dries, it becomes waterproof. What a beautiful sight. We had the opportunity to minister to many, many people in this village, both spiritually and medically. Beautiful waterfalls. You can even feel the ground vibrate near here. As the water passes by on toward the Atlantic Ocean, feeding into the mighty Amazon. I've often wondered why they didn't harness some of this, but the resources are very little to build hydro plants. This is our camp at Toppy's. This camp was leased to us for $1 a year from the Reynolds Aluminum Company, complete with everything. This is our seminary now. Here's some water buffalo. They've introduced these water buffalo into the area, a very hardy animal. Good for beef, good for milk. They're a very durable animal. Here they are taking them to pasture. They swim for more than 45 minutes in this deep water to go to high ground. They're not very buoyant, so all you see is their head sticking out. He hooks the pole on the horn and goes along with them. Can you imagine taking your cattle to pasture in a canoe? This is our boatyard. Who ever heard of a church having a boatyard? And yet this is where the hospital boat was built, and 20 others. The Lord has really used this place to His glory. This is the machine shop part of it. These boats are all steel, coated with aluminum to make them almost maintenance free. These frames in the foreground here are a catamaran that is now being used in the Lago Grande area. They also build boats for other missions. And this is called the Alleluia. Here they are launching it. Everybody push, 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 come on, push, they yell as it goes in the water. Praise the Lord. Here is another boat to go out and reach people for Jesus Christ, because boats are the only means of transportation. This is Linda, our lab technician, that worked with us for a few months. She's digging maggots out of this man's foot. What an opportunity to help this man along this line. Otherwise he would have lost his foot from gangrene. This is Margie's vegetable garden up on top of the boat, and what a blessing to be able to have fresh vegetables as we travel. She's got bell peppers and onions and turnip greens and all sorts of things. I've often told her if you don't quit putting all of this stuff on top of the boat, it's going to look like a jungle floating down the river. This is our little onion patch. Not a very appropriate vessel for onions, but it does grow real good onions. This is her lettuce patch. It's all leaf lettuce, and yet it's very healthy. This is a three-toed sloth. They were going to kill this animal to eat her, but they noticed a little baby clinging to her chest, and so they decided to let her go. There she goes up the tree. If you'll look very carefully, you'll see this baby hanging to her chest there for dear life. They're the slowest moving animal known. But I'll tell you, I've seen a lot of people move that slow, haven't you? Look at the baby now. See it? At this same house, the man here is pulling this yucca or mandioca plant up to show you what the roots look like. And this is where they get the potato part for this mandioca. That's a lot of them in it. They'll take that stalk now and cut it off and replant it for the next crop. Margie and this girl are standing by this huge castagna tree, or the Brazil nut tree. Beautiful, tall, hard wood. But I'll tell you, you don't want to be under that tree when those nuts start falling. They're about the size of a softball, real heavy, and they would just about drive you in the ground. Everywhere you see is beautiful flowers. And these are some just along the roadside. They look just like wax. More oriole nests. Everywhere you see these orioles. They're a beautiful bird. You don't go out and crank up the John Deere. You just go cut it all by hand. And this is a man harvesting his rice crop. Here were two little girls that were brought to us, very sickly. They had pneumonia, mumps, and measles all at the same time. They were 18 months old and unable to sit up. Notice their little frail-looking legs. We had the opportunity to give them all sorts of glucose and medicine and to help them rebuild their little frail bodies. Look at her reaching out. We need to reach back, don't we? There's lots of little children to reach. And look at the smile on this one's face. I'll tell you, wouldn't that break your heart? Butterflies everywhere. Here's a beautiful rainbow. We say there's a pot of gold at the end. We're looking for brown gold, the Brazilian people. This is Pastor Alzito and his wife. This is a couple we had the opportunity to lead to the Lord. She was unable to have children, and yet the little girl prayed. She now has twin brothers. I'm Joe Preston aboard the Portador da Luz, the medical boat for Cause Mission. And on this medical boat, we do medical work and dental work to be able to help the people along the rivers. As you see, we have a vast amount of equipment. We try to get along with a small amount if possible. Everything is portable, including the dental chair. And this makes it nice because we're able to move into areas where we can take our little generator along if necessary and be able to do dental work. We have the opportunity of being here in Brazil. Both my wife and I are retired. No, I shouldn't say we're retired, we're refired, because we're here doing a job for the Lord. And we've often said we could sure use a lot of other retired folks that are in the States that could come down and invest their lives in some of these young people. Now, these young people that we have here are those that we are training in dental work, in medical work, in laboratory work, and it's a real opportunity to multiply our lives many times by giving of ourselves to these folks. When we're dead and gone, this work will still continue on because the Lord has allowed us to train folks like these young people. We've sung many times the song, God's got an army marching through this land. Well, God's got a navy too, and here it is on the Amazon River. These are piloted by our Brazilian pastor brethren. Each one has maybe 2 or 3 churches. Brazil, the land of opportunity.
Bastante